everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to part 3 of this interview series I've been doing with the Assay Master of the Edinburgh Assay Office. Now, if you haven't checked out parts 1 and 2 yet, it's probably best to go and start there, as we cover a lot of really interesting ground about the Assay Office, about hallmarking, and look at some really fancy pieces to boot. So definitely worth checking out. Links are down in the description below. Now, you might note that I'm filming from my table here rather than up at the Edinburgh Assay Office, and that's because when I was up there filming, I had envisaged only 2 parts of this interview, but we had over 50 minutes worth of footage all told. So I've put this third part together, and this third part's a really interesting one. It focuses all on the testing regimen that not only my silver but all of the precious metals that go through the Edinburgh Assay Office undergo. So that's a really interesting part of this interview. I hope you enjoy it, so sit back and enjoy. So how do you test it? You talked obviously about the drill testing on these, but what other, if you can tell us, I mean, I don't know if they're trade secrets, but what other kind of equipment do you use that you'd be testing? Is it XRF machines? Is it all done by sort of chemical tests?
Okay. I'll give you an overview. I mean, the word assay is from the French essayer, which means to try. It's a trial. So what we actually do is we have 2 different means of testing. We have chemical analysis, which is destructive. So we have to remove some material, and that material is tested chemically. And then we have another method of testing, which is X-ray fluorescence, so XRF, and that is a non-destructive method, and we use specialist equipment for that also, but it doesn't have the depth of analysis. It's a surface analysis, so in the wrong hands you could jump to all sorts of conclusions. So the most important thing about an assay office is the reference methods, and that's what they call referee methods, and those are the chemical methods. So for gold, potentiometric, it's fire assay, trial by fire, which is a very old method, but with modern equipment it's accurate to 0.1 of a part per thousand.
Wow, okay.
Our current measurement of uncertainty for that method is less than 1 part per thousand. For silver, it's potentiometric titration, which again has a very low measurement of uncertainty. And for platinum, it's ICP, induction coupling plasma, which again has a very low measurement of uncertainty. So with a high degree of accuracy, we can tell you how much silver is there, how much gold is there, or how much platinum is there, or palladium for that matter.
And what happens if something fails one of those tests? What's first of all, what would the consequence be for that particular item? Does it automatically just get sent back to the maker, or what happens in that situation?
What happens in a fail situation? Well, first of all, we would test up to 3 or 4 times, and we would do various different things to ensure that we were getting a representative sample, to make sure there wasn't any drops in homogeneity. So it might be a patchy alloy, we might be picking up a bad part. So we would investigate thoroughly, but once we were satisfied that the product had failed, contact the customer, and they would have an option to have it marked down to a lower standard if a lower standard was available, and if not, it would be rejected and returned to them. They would sign a document to say that they would not submit it to another assay office and not attempt to sell it. It would usually be scrapped. But if the assay office were in any doubt, we would apply a reject mark, which would mean it couldn't be.
Oh, so is that a physical mark? That
it's a physical mark. We can say that it was rejected.
Okay, that's
in most cases these days, we're dealing with a lot of imports. They're normally returned to the factory that manufactured them and melted.
Okay.
And we just need a written confirmation that will be done.
So that's some really great information about the testing regimen that all of the pieces go through. But at the end of the day, it is your word, I suppose. You know, your assay mark is your word, that's the guarantee. So what makes it such a good guarantee? Who checks the checker, so to speak? How do we know that what you're telling us is correct?
Well, each hallmark that we apply has our castle, which is our guarantee. And behind that guarantee, there is a very high degree of checking that goes on. Firstly, the assay office annually is visited by the Queen's Assay Master. So the Royal Mint has an Assay Master, and he is dispatched with a team, and they go through all of our processes. They take samples away which we've passed. We keep samples of the samples that we've passed, and they check them. They then report that our laboratory is working as per, and our processes are working as per the regulations, and they report that to the British Hallmarking Council. So we have an independent assessment. In addition, our laboratory is accredited to 17025, which is a United Kingdom accreditation service. Again, that's a team of 2 people that come once a year and go through all of our processes in the lab with a fine-tooth comb and look at our inter-laboratory comparisons. We also have ISO 9001, 2000 throughout our hallmarking process, which again is an annual inspection. And if that's not enough, we are part of a international round robin, as it's known. It's a test of a blind sample at least twice a year, and that's for the International Hallmarking Convention as a competence test, and also for the International Association of Assay Offices, so that each assay office that's independent and applying a national mark can be compared for compliance with accuracy.
Brilliant.
So we are very checked.
That's quite a lot of checks, I have to say. It can be, I would imagine, quite an administrative burden to go through all of that each year and look it up, but I suppose it's worth it in the end,
I think trust is something which has been undermined in recent years, when organisations that everyone assumed were independent turned out to be less than independent. Yeah. So we have absolute faith in our skills and our staff here and our expertise. We've been doing it a long time, and we enjoy the challenge of being tested externally, because it's what we hang our hat on.
It's great. It's good to know. So that was a really interesting interview process. I really enjoyed talking with Scott. Thank you once again, Scott, for your time and energy and enthusiasm and sharing all of that information about the whole assay process. It really was absolutely fascinating for me, and I hope all of you guys out there as well have learned something, have enjoyed watching this interview series. I would love to know your thoughts and comments on hallmarking in general, what you've learned about it, what you think is really good about the hallmarking process. Also, I'd love to know what you think about Edinburgh and the Edinburgh Assay Office as well. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for this series. I will be going up to Edinburgh again in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll be doing some live stamping from the Edinburgh Assay Office kind of production floor, I guess you could call it, the stamping floor. I'm going to be talking with the master marker, who is the guy that does all of my hallmarking, and we're going to film him putting some hallmarks on one of the 100-gram silver foreign bars, and then film myself putting on my sponsor's mark, which should be a very fun experience indeed. So if you want to see that video and that vlog, that will be coming out in a few weeks' time. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you liked this video and you liked all of the other interview parts along the way, then please do hit the thumbs up button. It really does help everything I do here on my YouTube channel to help continue to get good content for you guys in the future. Otherwise, that is all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.